Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's TWIS podcast broadcast. I'm Dr. Kiki here to talk with you about, I don't know what, actually. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Justin is having internet issues at his location, and I was just putting in the chat that he clocked in at an incredible 2.76 megabits per second down. And what is it? 1.48 megabits per second up. I mean, this is pretty unheard of. I'm loving it. I'm trying to get the Facebook stream going. I'm going to remove the Facebook stream. Oh, and then we're going to go, whoopsie, let's add the Facebook stream. And then we're going to say, no, schedule for later. We're just saving. We're going to go live now with it. Facebook's coming. Oh my gosh. So this is the time of the show where we normally do pre-show and I tell you all the things, and then we jump into the science news and the actual show that Rachel edits for the podcast and all that. But tonight, tonight I am on my own. So right now we are going to have a long form, off the cuff pre-show that just may be the show, depending on what happens with Justin's internet. Yeah, more like a T1 line. I know. It's 56K. It's like dial-up speed. There we go. All you in the chat know what we're talking about here tonight. Yeah, Justin has moved back from Denmark, and in the in between, he's trying to find places that are great and consistent. And this place has been consistent for the show for the last several weeks. But tonight, the internet is not helping. So he's restarting his laptop. But honestly, I think, and I think you all know, that what needs to happen is that hotel router needs to be reset. I think that's what needs to happen. Someone needs to step in and just unplug it. Just click the off button. Maybe do the modem. Maybe the whole network has not been reset for a really long time. I don't know. I had a not great internet connection here at home yesterday, and what it led me to do is delete Chrome from my computer, delete all of the extensions, use Revo uninstaller to just clear cut everything related to Chrome out of my computer, and then upgrade finally my laptop to Windows 11. And then put Chrome back on, specifically because I know it works with StreamYard. Otherwise, I think I would have maybe used Brave, or I mean, I've downloaded these other browsers. I just haven't added them yet. What are your favorite browsers for securely wandering about the internet? Are you Tor users? Brave? Firefox? Chrome? Where are you? What are you doing? Right, the 1200 baud needs to be updated for a 2400. That's right, flying out. Brave and Safari from Fada. Yeah, I've got a cattail. This is my lemur. You don't see the rest of the animal, but could you imagine that I had a lemur here with me if all you saw was the tail? So last week, I was not in the usual broadcast of This Week in Science because I was in Raleigh, North Carolina for the annual ScienceTalk conference that is organized by the Association of Science Communicators. And disclaimer, it's kind of me and a bunch of other people. I am the executive vice president of the Association of Science Communicators. And honestly, it is a passion project of mine to try and help develop the profession of science communication and to give science communicators of all kinds a place to go, to be able to connect with each other and try and address the issues of our day, and also see how we might move into the future together. And this last week was, I was telling my friend, and I've posted on Facebook and on LinkedIn about this, but last week was everything. It really was. I was in charge of making sure that the virtual and hybrid conference happened and was in charge of the tech at the conference. So I led our little team. I'm calling us our ragtag team because everyone kind of volunteered and people signed up for shifts to volunteer. And then at the end of the day, it was really wonderful. Everybody, my starting team was the team, and I had a volunteer named Deborah who showed up on Thursday morning, 7:30 in the morning, ready to go, and she learned how to use the PZT pan zoom tilt cameras, and learned how to direct and switch camera views, and did that in on the fly, learned how to do that, wanted to learn more. And by the end of our first session, like couple of sessions, when she had to go lead a workshop someplace else, she said, I will be back. Don't give my seat away. This is my spot for the rest of the time. This is my spot. I'm doing this for the rest of the conference. And it was just amazing to have her help. Andy, my colleague on the board, Andy Freeberg, who's a science communicator. He used to work at Slack. He now works at Zap Energy, and he's working on fusion technology, which is super cool. He's a communicator, and he helped with the leading of the tech side of stuff. Um, he helped with the PowerPoint presentations and making sure things were up where they needed to be. And then I found an awesome North Carolina State University college student named Wilson Jordan, who we hired him on a daily basis to assist, and he was amazing. He did our audio, and um, I think he was really good. So I've got videos now that I need to edit and post process and do all that kind of stuff. But it was technically not as clean and wonderful a show as I probably would have loved to do. But at the end of the day, you do what you can do. And I felt so lucky to be at this conference that we made happen, and to be present for so many people who were dealing really personally with the issues that we're up against right now. Yeah, we had people who showed up on Thursday who were fired on Wednesday. We had people who knew graduate students and other researchers who had lost funding through the NSF, NIH, et cetera. We knew people. There were people at the conference who were on immigrant visas, work visas, to do graduate studies here in the United States, who were at our conference. They braved traveling across the country and airports and all that to be able to come to the conference. So it was somber at times, but at the same time, the whole event was perfused with an energy of community and of learning and being open to learning from each other, and of wanting to support each other. And I really do hope that a number of people there who had jobs on Wednesday, or maybe had jobs in January that they no longer have, were able to make contacts at our conference that might lead them into places where they have, more optimistic circumstances moving forward. There are good places. I mean, we laughed a lot and it was great. And Friday night, we had a science drag and burlesque show. Oh my gosh, it was downtown Raleigh, and it was a bunch of local drag and burlesque performers, and drag and burlesque performers from our organization and our community. And it was just amazing. It was so much fun. I think, I don't know, creative ways of approaching science as a topic, and also diversity and inclusion and finding ways of reaching out into the community is, the local community, wherever you are, wherever any of us is. It's what we need to be right now. How are you all right now? I have a very you hear my voice, I am at the very tail end of a of a post-conference voice loss. I went and I had an amazing time. It was, I mean, really, truly, overall, it was all the emotions, all the experiences, and, my voice is a little hoarse right now. But I am, yeah, glad to be here again, and I'm glad you're here as well. So, I know, right now in this moment, those of you who are here, you came here looking for TWIS, our weekly show. And right now, I don't know where Justin is. I'm looking at my phone, waiting for a text, and there's no text, and there's nothing. He's not here. So we're going to keep talking and hanging out. So if you have questions or thoughts or whatever, just put them in the chat and let's have a conversation. I do have stories, but if Justin is trying to get the router, the Wi-Fi situation at his hotel fixed, then I want him to be able to do that, and then we can story it up when he gets here. I don't want to, steamroll and move ahead. And sometimes, yeah, maybe tonight just becomes a special show. I'm happy with that too. I see it, Justin, as we said. Yeah, a special show. Yes, post-conference recovery. That is where we are. Oh, where are you? How are you?
Is it? It might not be working.
What are you doing? Are you using your phone?
Hang
Oh,
on,
I hear
hang on.
myself.
Yeah,
La la la
it's
la la
not.
la.
Now my Bluetooth doesn't work. Hang on.
La, la, la.
Make everything go.
Yes, Pepsi Cola, a wild Justin here.
Okay.
What was my favorite part, science or personal, of
It seems to be working for the moment.
do a
Oh.
speed test. See what you got now. I was like bragging about your
I
earlier
did.
test.
It's still not good. It's still not good. I don't know that I will be able to participate, but I will watch. I'll be in the chat room over on the tubes.
Hold on a second.
Because
That's
unfortunately,
not how it goes.
well, it's too bad. Yeah, we might have to cancel. This location has
Yeah.
been striking gold every time.
It's been great
I
until
don't know
tonight.
why. I'm not like in a different part of the hotel or anything. Like it should all be the same thing. And I called the help desk to see if they could restart the router, and I don't think they knew what I was talking about. But they said they would call a helpline
Hmm.
that they have. Uh, And I don't think they know where it is. I have no idea, like, what I would be looking
There's a
for.
closet
Like,
somewhere
opening closets
near
and
you.
hallways and...
Yeah. They have their
Or on the
main
roof.
modem
Or,
and
like,
router.
who knows?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's not in this room.
Flying out said, it's working. And then flying out said, maybe not.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
You're right,
yeah.
Pepsi Cola.
It's not going... It's the...
You've got a delay. Hmm. It's super exciting.
There's... It's the upload and the download speeds that are bad.
Mhm.
So... It's kind of hard to get around both.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
what
maybe they'll
what a
reset
fun
it.
week!
What a fun week this has been. Oh my gosh. Last night I found myself talking with Marshall going, so I came back from an awesome, connective, beautiful community experience. And at the same time now, I'm sitting here going, okay, if the dollar fails and banks fail, what happens next? What do I do? But hey, okay. It's okay. The market rebounded today just a little bit because Trump was like, yeah, no, never mind. I mean, I didn't say his name. I did. But
I mean, trillions
I
of
have
dollars
a
are gone, but that's fine. Whatever.
money. What is no? You know what happened? It was a pump and dump. It was crash everything, and then everybody waits for the buy call,
Totally.
and then the
Oh,
buy call
absolutely.
happens, and all the people who paid attention were like, "I made money! Oh my god, there was so much money to be made for people. Haha, that's so good." Were you listening? Are you rich now?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah. They have figured out there's a button they can push now
It's called the
that
scary,
will take
scary,
the
scary
market so they
uncertainty
can,
button.
go get the cash ready.
Mhm. I liked that it was like a blip of Justin blinking. Oh, maybe they're resetting the router right now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
No, you're leaving. You're like, bye-bye. I'll just be here
Thank
for
God.
you.
I like 100% know
This
from
is
the
not. It's
brief conversation I had. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. But no, I'd be
You
very
haven't.
curious to see who bought right before, who bought real heavy right before. Like Tesla went up
Mhm.
like 8%, and I was like, I wonder if that's just Elon.
Really? Interesting. Hmm.
Like, look at when it starts going up. Just like, I wonder if he just like,
Place your
because
bets.
because they all. What's ridiculous is that they get loans based on commodities. So if you took out a big loan based on the stock market, last Tuesday, and then
Mhm.
you have all that cash, even though it's a replication of the cash that you had somewhere else, but it's a loan now, so it's no taxes. And then you take the market, and then you use all that cash to buy the market, and then you hit the button and the market goes back up, and then you can pay off the loan, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah.
But you have all this extra money now, or all
Extra
these more commodities
money.
that you can loan off
Hmm.
of next time. And you can do it again. The fact that the Bitcoin people, and there's a Bitcoin name, government efficiency, is now pumping and dumping should surprise no one.
I am not surprised.
Like the thing that should be a crime, which by the way,
It is. No.
whether it's a crime or not a crime, the department in the Department of Justice that overlooks security and specifically not cybersecurity,
Mhm.
but the Bitcoin fraud, the cyber currency fraud, that just got dismantled today. So
Of course it did. Oh, also
they
the
realized,
government
like, oh
of
wait,
like
there's somebody who looks into this.
there's also an
Let's
office related
cancel
to
their funding now. Like,
OMB
oh my
or
gosh.
budget man OBM or whatever. They closed down transparency. No longer they got rid of a website that tells people where money is going in the government. It's so awesome. It's so good. We don't even have to know anymore. They don't have to
I
tell.
got like every third word. I'm gonna go. This conversation will be bad.
Blah, bruh, oh, ma, bruh.
Yeah, I heard
Try. Can you
none of what you just said.
can you hotspot? Can you hotspot from your phone to your computer?
That's the bunny ears. Like,
Yes.
no,
It's like
because I got the wrong phone. Hi, Mint Mobile. Uh, so I get back to the States. I'm like, oh, I gotta, get a good data line. They're like, unlimited data, super cheap. I was like, perfect, exactly what I want. And then it turns out, and I don't know how they know or why they care, it's unlimited data except for hotspots. Then it's got a real
pay
tiny
by
threshold.
yeah, pay by the
So
millisecond.
I wouldn't make it
Mm.
15 minutes into the show. So I need a new phone. That was a lesson learned. I need to go get. I think Verizon still has unlimited hotspotting. So
Okay, so here's what
would
we're gonna
likely
do.
be better than this. There's a satellite company that has Wi-Fi, but I'm not gonna go with it. I decided.
Yeah. No, you don't want
It
that
was.
like
It,
monitored yet very.
I don't want. I don't want to put money. Not like
You
monitored.
know
I
it's
could care
not.
less.
You know it's not
But it's
secure.
more like the.
And there's the
It's like it's okay to buy a German car now,
ethics
but
of
there
it.
was a time when you didn't.
You
You
did
shouldn't.
not.
Right?
No. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't want you to go away, but I also I'm
it's
just gonna okay,
actually
since
stopped at
this is
you.
kind of
This is like a
you're
very freeze frame that I
oh,
can't
now you are. Freeze frame.
roll.
Freeze frame.
It just
Darn
sounds like
it.
robot talk.
Okay, I just am gonna say 2 words to you. Dire wolf. Do we get anything back? Darn it, he went away. Scar maybe Paul Disney. Don't say anything about sharing information. Ah, flash mob. That's right, freeze him. I like it. I like it. We'll flash mob and freeze Justin. Well, I am bummed that Justin's internet is not working tonight. So I have stories. Should I just keep going and just start talking about the things? Or do we need to do like the whole intro and all that kind of stuff? Can we make it just a weird special show and it'll just be kind of, because this is, we don't have Justin. He came in, his internet was like, so strong, such a strong internet. Like, I mean, this internet is so strong that he had to leave because it was too much for him. His internet was too strong. Story time. Okay, here we go, everybody. We are doing special edition twist. Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Kiki. I'm not putting any music in because I don't feel like it. And a special night tonight. I don't have any co-hosts. You're my co-host. Okay? It's all of you. You're doing the show with me right now. Okay, so this week in science, if you like it, go to twist.org and click on the Patreon link and support us because that's really helpful to keep the show going so that Justin can potentially rent more useless hotel rooms with internet. It was so good until it wasn't, but isn't it always? Okay, and what's the other thing? Oh, yes, the Zazzle store. It's great. You go to Zazzle, click on the Zazzle link at twist.org. You can get our merchandise, cool t-shirts, no, pictures like this hammerhead shark in the background of where I am right now. Those are on towels and other things, t-shirts and Blair made art. And come on, it's super, super, super cool. Okay. That's enough of that. And yeah, share this specifically with your friends because this is the best episode ever. I'm just gonna start the science with those 2 words. Dire wolves. I would like a show of hands, everyone in the chat. Who's heard things about dire wolves this week? Just would love to know how many people have heard things about dire wolves. And if you would like to comment on what you've heard, are you aware they are no longer extinct? Apparently, have you heard these things? I love it. All of you are fantastic. Sorta. We got a sorta from flying out. We've got don't know what that is. Can't call it. Tony M saying yes. Ian Tanager, Pepsi Cola. You're taking a look here. Flying out says sorta. There's the sorta. Fada, you heard it, but don't believe it. It's good to be skeptical. And here we are. Here we are, Laura D. Here we are, Laura D. We've got Yeah, look at all of you. You've heard the de-extinction of dire wolves. They're gonna be full grown, as big as bears. They're gonna be massive. These wolves that, are not actually dire wolves. I'm just going to let you know, in the words of Katie Mack, dire wolves? More like liar wolves. Am I right? Thank you for that, Katie. I mean, honestly, that was like peak blue sky right there. That was amazing. Everybody. Yes. Flying out, you're asking, they are 99% gray wolf to start. Yes, Great Gourd, you're saying bits and pieces, the whole pile of asterisks. Yes, we have many, many asterisks to discuss right now. So let's talk about what they're doing. We've talked about Colossal a lot. This company founded by George Church and Ben something or other, a tech dude, tech bra. And they came together and they're like, let's use genomics and genetics for conservation. But, I don't know about their whole story. But, we're going to put that a little pin in that one to the side for right now. So the news this week is ta-da! And they actually did like a whole, they were going to have news coming out April 8th that, oh my gosh, that they got George R.R. Martin in on. And George R.R. Martin was like um, all over trying to like say, hey, everybody, D-Day. We're going to have a day on April 8th that's going to be the day. And it's going to be super exciting. And everybody's like, ooh, it's going to be the next book that you've been talking about forever that you're never going to write, right? And it wasn't, of course, a book. It was these not dire wolves. And still, George R.R. Martin was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put it in my blog, and look at this, I'm so excited, entire world." George R.R. Martin is in on the PR sensationalism hype, and it's making me very upset and very sad. I saw some Swedish wolf lady who loves animals. She's putting it all over her social media. No comments. You cannot comment back because you know what? Those are probably paid posts, and she's not saying they're paid. And if she's really a science person, she should know these are not dire wolves. Okay. Anyway, the dire wolf story. Colossal for ages has been trying to take ancient DNA, sequence genomes from ancient animals or, relatively recently, 13,000 years ago, extinct animals like the dire wolf, and use those genes to be able to bring the genes back. And this is the part of the story that is not discussed. Everybody says the species, they're bringing the species back. No, they're not bringing the species back. They are bringing genes back. They talk a lot about lost genes. And in their methodology, what they have done is they took blood from gray wolves. From the gray wolves and the blood, they were able to get endothelial, not epithelial, endothelial cells. And these endothelial cells in the blood, they can be used to create pluripotent stem cells that can be turned into anything else. And so these endothelial cells are able to create cells that can then be genetically modified at certain points in the chromosomes, which they identified looking at ancient direwolf DNA. And they went, oh, these are the genes that are special to make direwolf traits: big faces, large size, white fur. And they have those genes, right? It's a set of letters in the DNA. And they went, okay, this is the stuff. And they took those sets of letters and they went, okay, let's look for the stuff that's like this in the gray wolf because it's very, very similar. They're 99.5% similar. They say that the gray wolf is the closest living relative to the dire wolf. This is the only, this is the most recent, I guess, evidence to that. particular argument. Historically, researchers have thought that dire wolves may be closer related to jackals or even hyenas, or dingoes. And so the gray wolf aspect they are positing based on their own data that has not yet been published or peer reviewed. They've done all the work and they say that this is the closest, and so this is what we're going to do. But none of it's been published yet. Although it will be. Of course it will be. Everything's going to be published because, science. So we have baby white gray wolves who have been genetically modified. So gray wolves that have been genetically modified to express genes that are more similar to ancient dire wolf DNA. They couldn't use the gene for the real white hair color. Sorry, I got to drop my lemur on the ground. The white hair color of the dire wolves, because the gray wolves, if they gave them that particular gene, the exact lettering in the DNA, and that was the one that was expressed, because it is a polyphyletic trait where the gene impacts a lot of different traits. If they'd done that, the pups would have been blind and deaf. So they said, oh, we learned something. We're not going to torture poor little baby animals, and we're going to use the gray wolf gene. We're going to use a gray wolf gene that gets rid of the melanin in the hair. So they modulated the gray wolf gene to give white hair instead of gray hair, like a gray wolf would have. They used really interesting techniques. Everything they're doing is fascinating. And in this, everybody's excited about the dire wolf story. And they've brought in indigenous populations that have stories of dire wolves that still inhabit their spoken histories. But these are not dire wolves. These are faint shadows of what dire wolves once were. These are gray wolves who have been modified to express traits that might be similar to dire wolves of 13,000 years ago. One of the bits that really bugs me, the hubris, is the news and parts of the story in which they say, we're going to study these dire wolves and learn about dire wolf behavior, wild dire wolf behavior. Where are they going to learn about it? Here comes the lemur. Honestly, these dire wolves, who is teaching them how to be a dire wolf? They don't have dire wolf parents, and they've separated the wolves from the gray wolf mother because the gray wolf mother was acting like a mom and is a gray wolf. So I want to know who these dire wolves are learning to be dire wolves from. Oh, no, it's all genetic. You just know how to be a dire wolf. That's it. Based on, and they made 20 genetic edits, 15 of which are supposedly specifically ancestral, like strictly ancestral dire wolf. But there are Pepsi-Cola, there are a lot of hypotheticals and assumptions, and the whole thing is science by PR, and it is hype train driven. The cover of Time magazine, massive. I mean, I don't know how many people read Time anymore. It's a beautiful cover, but it's not true. These are not dire wolves. Somebody on Blue Sky said, and I love this, or no, it was on Reddit actually. Somebody said, okay, it's like if you took a Subaru, an old beat up Subaru, and you painted it red and called it a Ferrari. It's kind of what we got going on right now. What's getting lost in the hubbub, though, is the other part of this, which is the actual conservation part, in which they have taken for red wolves. And on the east coast of the United States, in North America, the red wolf is critically endangered. And parallel to what they're doing with the dire wolves, they have taken genomes from relatives, from a couple of male and a female red wolf, or related, closely related, from I think it was like a Gulf population, or a northern panhandle, like Florida population of these red wolves. They're like 20 real northeastern red wolves in that are living alive today. We have them. We had up to like 100 of them, and we had a wonderful breeding program going. And in 2015, we shut down the breeding program. Maybe it was 2016. I don't remember. But that program ended, and almost all of the red wolves died. There are 20 left in captivity, and they were able to look at related individuals, look at the genes, and gather what they call ghost genes. And their intent is to look at really closely related individuals to determine genes that increase genetic diversity, so that they can take genes that have been lost, that have disappeared, that are no longer in a bottlenecked population. So you can start bringing, if you can take those genes, add them into your endothelial cell that you then clone, and then you do somatic nuclear transfer, and suddenly you have an embryo that works. You implant that. And I don't know why all the releases said it's non-invasive. I'm like, how do you implant an embryo non-invasively? I don't know. How do you take blood non-invasively? They keep saying non-invasive. I am so tired of whoever their communicators are. Anyway, I am judging right now. But uh, the big thing is they are doing conservation work. Now there are 3 more red wolf individuals than there were previously, and they have additional genetic diversity that is not present in that population of 20 individuals that are captive. So, what does that mean? Like, is this how we will develop more diverse populations that can be conserved and that will live and thrive in the future? The big question here, though, is what does it matter if you're not actually preserving ecosystems, if you're not solving the problem that leads to that genetic bottleneck in the first place? We can like do all of the stuff to bring back white rhinos, but if you haven't gotten rid of poaching, if you haven't gotten rid of all of the human encroachment, the deteriorating ecosystems, if you haven't kept an ecosystem up for these populations, what are we doing? Yeah, maybe non-surgical, right? Right, Justin? Like maybe the non-invasive just means non-surgical. A needle doesn't matter. That's fine. That's fine. Implantation? Nah. We little pipette? Nah, not a big deal. Um, anyway, I do not like the way that they are marketing what they're doing. They are using pop culture and hype to be able to get people excited about the work that they're doing and to increase their market value, and they're going to get more investing because look, they're successful. But at the end of the day, they have proprietary algorithms for analyzing genomes. They have proprietary systems and methods, technology that are being used to I can't move around. I need to move things. Technology that who's going to pay for them when it comes time to conserve critically endangered species? Who is going to pay for this, which is probably going to be incredibly expensive because unless you're doing doing it at scale, the price isn't going to make sense. So there's part of me that I really want to believe that what they're doing is for the good of species and conservation. But there's another part of me that just sees this as yet another attempt by the tech industry to transfer wealth and to make a buck and it's not really in service of the conservation that it says it is. Anyway, yeah, pop culture science, exactly. But yeah, so long story short, please, if you see or hear anybody talking about dire wolves coming back to life, that we've brought dire wolves back to life. Dire wolves aren't extinct anymore. They cloned a dire wolf. No, 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 no. They have done some incredible science that is absolutely, absolutely undeniable. To have healthy offspring from these procedures, this is cutting edge. This is cutting edge. But yeah, Justin, what you're saying, rich people pets, right. This is the technology that is going to be the technology that allows you to take a gene from someplace else, a gene that's gone from history, a Neanderthal gene, a woolly mammoth gene, I don't know, name your animal. If we have the genome and we know the genes and we know what they influence, you can take that gene, you can manipulate DNA in a particular location to have a particular effect. So you can have a bigger dog, you can have a smaller dog, you can have a smarter child. I mean, all of this, or a stronger child. Maybe you really, really want a cold adapted, I don't know, track and field shot put winner. This is the technology that is going to, this is reproductive technology. This is genetic modification technology. These are the techniques that are being patented, and the algorithms that are going to be licensed that will, they're going to take us to that Gattaca kind of world. Because once we know we can do it in animals and create healthy offspring in animals and get what we want for traits, it's plug and play. So yeah, I am not excited about quote unquote Jurassic Park. I'm not excited about their totally secure facility where these wolves are learning to be dire wolves from Lord knows who. Um, Yeah, a digital nomad says it would be nice to have an entire African savanna that would fit on a tabletop with tiny animals in an ecosystem. Tiny ones, right? Why not? Like little like those little tiny frogs. I mean, you got to watch out though. At a certain point, those little tiny frogs that jump and they forget where they are in the air and fall down too small, and they just don't work anymore because those little bones in the middle ear, they can't go that small. Welcome. Beginning of a zoo where all the animals are reimagined versions of the natural ones. Why is natural not okay anymore? Why is the real thing something we need to change? Fix the ecosystem, fix the human problem, and then let's deal with all of this. I mean, yes, parallel. We need lots of parallel routes, but I don't know. I am not convinced. And if somebody can come and convince me that this is amazing and it really is good for the future and for the earth, I welcome it. I do not like being a negative Nancy about stuff. I am Little Miss Optimist. I really try to be excited and optimistic about things as much as possible, but I believe that the the sensationalism and hype is almost the same as misinformation, and it is when people discover it's not dire wolves, that's not what they said, then it's not just reflecting on their company, and all press is good press, right? So it doesn't matter. I'm giving them press right now, but I only said their name at the beginning. um, I'm giving them press, right? It's press, right? Attention. But science is what is going to suffer. as a result, because people generally will be misled and say, well, what? Scientists can't be trusted. Oh my God. So we need dragons. Yes. And unicorns. Yes. Absolutely. I don't know. I love the idea. And have you seen the videos of these cute, poor little animals? Oh, oh, oh. You go online and they're like, see a video of the first dire wolf in 13,000 years howling, the howl of the dire wolf. Who knows if it's the wolf, that dire wolf howl? It's just a little baby wolfie. The wolfie is going, oh, 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 and they're adorable. They're going to be great. I am more excited. I mean, okay, I forgot to put this in my rundown, but there was a story about I think is it Washington State or Yellowstone? Oh yeah, 4 days ago, we had a news that gray wolf packs are on the rise. Their numbers are on the rise in Washington. Two new packs formed. So let's see, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife released the annual 2024 report on gray wolves, and the numbers did decline slightly because there is hunting, because these beautiful gray wolves, um, they sometimes go onto ranchers' land, and the ranchers go, "You're going to kill my cattle." And so they decide that they're going to attack at first, right? Offense is the best defense, according to the ranchers. Well, you want to protect your herds. Anyway, 43 confirmed gray wolf packs. 43 packs across the state. It's amazing. Number of wolves decreased, though, from 254 to 230. But that is a large enough number for the biologists to say that the population remains stable, on track for recovery. This is an average growth of 20% per year since 2008 until 2024. Ben Maletsk, statewide wolf specialist, said the number of packs increased in the North Cascades, and both the North Cascades and Eastern Washington recovery regions continue to meet or exceed recovery goals. I think that is super cool news. I mean, that's conservation in action. That is the kind of news that is really going to have an impact on ecosystems, because the wolves are North America's natural predators. And those wolves are going to keep deer populations in check. That in turn will keep other herbivore populations in check. That in turn will have an impact on the plants, and everything is connected in the way that that the food web works together. Oh, Justin, I would love a pet pygmy mastodon, but you know what? You can get a teacup cow right now. They're little and they have cute little fur, and their faces are so cute. Get yourself a teacup cow. You don't need a mastodon. Come on, you don't have to wait that long. So I don't know, I find this kind of revival of endemic species, the gray wolves, they have not gone extinct in North America. Let's not let them go extinct. Why would we focus our energy on a 13,000 year extinct species when we have beautiful, beautiful gray wolves to take care of in our own world already? Yeah. So anyway, I did actually get a bachelor's of science in wildlife and fisheries conservation. So conservation biology is very near and dear to my heart. I think that the way we approach conservation needs to be from an ecosystem level, and that we need to take a really hard look at ourselves and how we interact with the environment. And for a very long time, and we still have it, and I have a feeling these project this year, people, that, the way they look at the world is still antiquated in that view of humans as having dominion over the earth, as opposed to humans being another animal species on the earth that is just very active and has a responsibility as sentient organisms to control how we interact with the environment. Anyway, I don't know. I'm gonna keep reporting on Colossal because I think there needs to be a continued conversation about what is happening, why it's happening, and where it might all go. And I feel like we need to have an open conversation socially about these issues. So, what do you all think? You wanna not dire wolf? Oh, it's a dire shame of what they've done. Ah. But thank you for joining me for this week in Kiki ranting about not dire wolves. Scam wolf. Yes, I need Brian Brushwood on here. We could talk about dire scams. All right. But I'd love to everybody think about, though, this idea of ghost genes. I mean, it's a very Red Queen-centric kind of perspective, that the genes are the driving factor and that we are just a vessel for genes to propagate themselves. Any life is a vessel for genes. And that's kind of where I feel like this effort is coming from. It's not conservation in the context of actual what we've got going on this planet, conservation, not conserving what we've got in life as we know it. It's conserving genetic diversity. And I have a feeling that we're gonna see, I have a feeling that we're going to see, instead of a seed bank, it's gonna be a gene bank. I mean, there already are there's a database, it's called the gene bank. But I feel like this is going to be where this is going to push. It's going to be, genomes as a service, right? Genes as a service, where you can pick and choose for whatever you need them. And it's an interesting sci-fi kind of concept, but I think it's really a very important and interesting one for people to think about. And I'd love to hear what any of you have to say, or what your thoughts are about the idea of conserving genetic diversity versus conserving species diversity. Because they keep saying, we're bringing the dire wolf back. It's the species. And it's like, it's not a dire wolf. It's not even just a gray wolf with a lot of weird genes that you manipulated. Still a gray wolf, but it's white. It might get big with a big face. Ah, ta-da. I know. We could have a science scam segment. I always try and talk about whatever I see that's out there that's a scam. I mean, that's where Justin's not a real doctor pills came from. I mean, Justin, people decided to get small again. Yeah, we made smaller people, more resources. That's why the teacup cows are great, right? You have less land. You can have more cows on less land, and it's great, and they're cute. And then you feel worse about deciding to eat them for meat. Pepsi Cola. I would like to buy the ability to fly, but with a Groupon code and payment plan. We all know that Groupon codes are a scam. Oh, those Groupon codes, that whole company was built to fail. That again, that was a money transfer operation. When Wall Street got involved in Silicon Valley, everything changed. Dun, dun, dun. I love talking about gray wolves, though. Gray wolves are pretty and they're awesome animals. And I will put the George R.R. Martin blog post up on our website for everyone to see. But you do have to take a look at this picture. It is, I mean, he calls his blog not a blog, and he should have called this not a direwolf. But look how cute that little guy is. Oh my gosh. And they're all named based on it's Romulus and Remus and Khaleesi. So they have totally touched on his sentimental spot. Ah, this company is a bunch of users. That's all I think anyway. But look how cute that little baby wolf is. Wolfie, I want to pet you before you get too big and wild and want to eat me with your big mouth. He's so cute. Oh my gosh. Anybody who got to see these wolves before they get too big is very lucky because they're probably going to be very large and hard to control. And who knows? Who knows? I would love to hear more about their behavior as they get older because they're not being raised by parents, not my direwolf parents. All right. Blair has said in the past, Fada's bringing up, I agree with what Blair has said in the past about bringing back, quote unquote, past extinct species. We no longer have the environment and ecosystem that would support them. So it's dangerous to do so. Yeah. I mean, but that's one of the questions, right? If we brought woolly mammoths back to the northern realms, like, Canada, I mean, how would they do? And like Siberia. So these woolly mammoths, if you got them into the areas where they used to be in the past, is there a lack that if they were back in the ecosystem, would they fill it? Right? And that's an interesting question. But does it need to be a mammoth? Could it be other species that are still alive today? I mean, climate change is happening and we're seeing shifts in global temperature and we are seeing changes in where different species can exist. And we see places on this planet becoming inhospitable to species. Could we move them to places that would be more hospitable? And how would that, and I mean, would that work better? I mean, you move them someplace else. Oh, suddenly, ta-da, there's no poachers there because nobody was there to poach them in the first place. I just keep thinking about why this focus on quote unquote conservation when it's not solving the root problem. Ha ha ha, Fada, you're hilarious. Is this why the orange guy wants Greenland to reintroduce woolly mammoths? I mean, if only. That's funny. That would be, I mean, that would be interesting, but I mean, unfortunately, probably not. But yeah, the dire wolves, Pepsi Cola, they will get less cuddly with time. Oh my gosh. But anyway, this has been all over the place on social media this week, and people have asked me about stuff, and I've seen stuff, and I really hope that all of you will go out into the world and try to have conversations with people about what they've read and why they can't be dire wolves, why they are not dire wolves, and why the framing and the spin is bad. And we can all address the cuteness of the animals in the room, but we could. Let's see, a couple of other fun studies. I thought these were really awesome. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but some space studies that I thought were really great this week. Let's see, what did we have? Let me see if I can open these up. So researchers on the, not researchers, well, they are researchers, but scientists, astronauts on the International Space Station made Miso. They made Miso. Researchers from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they ran an experiment to create fermented soybean paste, miso. And they wanted to experiment with how the space environment changed the flavor of miso. And indeed, the research suggests that it did. The industrial design scientist Maggie Koblenz from MIT said fermentation on the International Space Station, because this is fermented soybean paste. So you have soybeans, fermented paste. I don't know why that sound was paste, but fermentation is a huge aspect of the process. So you have yeast involved to break down sugars and to enzymatically and metabolically shift the chemical makeup of that paste. Fermentation is a fabulous, fabulous process that we love so much. Researcher says fermentation on the ISS illustrates how a living system at the microbial scale can thrive through the diversity of its microbial community, emphasizing the potential for life to exist in space. While the ISS is often seen as a sterile environment, our research shows that microbes and non-human life have agency in space. Agency when you've got, the right conditions. Maybe microgravity, but there's still the right conditions. Agency in space, raising significant bioethical questions about removing plants and microbes from their home planet and introducing them to extraterrestrial environments. I'm not exactly sure how she went from part one, where you have microbes and non-human life having agency in space, to the second about removing from the home. Is it that we should ask them for their consent? I'm not sure. Anyway, the researchers had Miso starter and sent the batches of the Miso starter to Cambridge, Massachusetts, Copenhagen, and low Earth orbit on the International Space Station. What they found is after the batches fermented for 30 days inside a special box that was temperature, humidity, pressure, light, radiation monitored, they were able to find that the Miso on space was slightly different. And the Miso in space fermented successfully, but the difference was it had higher populations of Staphylococcus epidermis, Staphylococcus warneri. This could because it's a warmer environment on the space station. Also, Bacillus valezensis was only identified in the space Miso. They all had similar aroma compounds and amino acids and yummy, salty. That yummy, I guess, is a characteristic of Miso, salty flavor. But space Miso was nuttier and tasted more roasted. And so there were pyrazine compounds present that they think were a result of the higher International Space Station temperatures. And that could have accelerated fermentation, which means that if fermentation was accelerated, 30 days of fermentation would lead to a more fermented product at the end of 30 days in the space station than on Earth. But the researchers say this is exciting because it could enhance astronaut well-being and performance. Studies like this. Oh, me so excited, especially on future long-term space missions. More broadly, it can invite new forms of culinary expression, expanding and diversifying culinary and cultural representation in space exploration. So go space, Miso. Yeah, would you imagine if it keeps growing? It's like gray goo, but it's Miso. An additional study for in the space, which is very exciting. Researchers have published an April 3rd Cell Press Journal device about their work creating solar cells out of simulated moon dust. Not real moon dust, but simulated moon dust. And they found that the materials in the simulated moon dust, which is supposed to be just like moon dust, right? They are really great, and they are able to convert sunlight to energy efficiently, withstand radiation damage, which is the big deal. If you're going to put moon dust into solar cells and put them on the surface of the moon, so you have moon glass that's doing solar energy transition. Why do I keep hitting that? I really need to move it. The efficiency normally of solar cells, they're expensive, they're heavy, the glass or foil, it has to deal with radiation and they're not so great. So if you can use materials from the moon, this is the thing they're excited about. It could cut a spacecraft's launch mass by about 99%. That would reduce transport costs and make lunar settlements more feasible. I mean, if you've got moon dust that can work, that's great. So there's substance that they designed to simulate moon dust that they like. I love this moon glass for their solar cell. They paired moon glass with perovskite, and for every gram of material sent to space, the panels produced up to 100 times more energy than traditional solar panels. So, number one, I'm thinking that this is exciting because you don't have to take stuff to space, except maybe the perovskite, and you have great energy production in space on the moon. They're resilient against radiation. They don't degrade. They wouldn't degrade as quickly. They outperform Earth-made standard glass. But why do we have to make them on the moon if they created this moon glass here on Earth and it was better? Could we use moon glass for better solar panels here on our planet? I like this idea. But anyway, I find it very exciting. I am thrilled at the idea of moon glass and solar made or moon made solar cells. This solar manufacturing, potentially, they could power exploration on the moon. They could be built, dig up the regolith, isolate the bits that you need, and make your moon glass. But why do we have to make it on the moon? Let's make it on Earth. Simulate it. Is it expensive? That's my question. I don't know. I want highly efficient moon glass. I do. Don't you? Okay, last study that I want to share tonight. It's taking this show to the dogs. Yep, I am taking this show to the dogs right now. So, Justin, you know that we've talked about cats being bad for the environment, killing birds and all that kind of stuff so many times. Let your cat out, they're gonna kill birds and get toxo, and you're gonna get toxo, and everybody's having brain disease. Woohoo! It's awesome. Cats have been maligned for a very long time. Nobody is talking about the dogs. Everybody loves dogs. You don't have that many wild dogs. Everybody's got their dogs on leashes, right? No, that's not the case. So this particular study, it was just published in the journal Pacific Conservation Biology. Here we go, more conservation biology. This review highlighted, this is out of The Guardian, this article I'm looking at, highlighted the impacts of the world's commonest large carnivore. That's dogs. It's not cats, it's dogs. Dogs have very extensive environmental impacts. And this Australian review of studies argues that, quote, the environmental impact of owned dogs is far greater, more insidious, and more concerning than is generally recognized. And you know why that is? It's not because of the dogs themselves. It's because of their owners. Yeah. People who have dogs, they're like, oh, it's fine. I'll let them off the leash. It's okay. They run around and you go to the beach, whatever. And then, your dog goes and kills a shorebird. Oh my gosh, he's never done anything like that before. I can't believe it. Oh, drop it. Don't. Oh my God, it's so dirty. My dog's going to get a disease now. Everyone, please be aware that your animals are having an impact. In Australia, apparently attacks by unrestrained dogs on little tiny penguins in Tasmania are potentially going to contribute to colony collapse. This is not good. Animals taken to the zoo, according to a study, uh, found that mortality was highest after dog attacks, which was the second most common reason for admission after car strikes. So we have large animals, deer, foxes, bobcats, less active or avoiding areas where dogs are allowed. Insecticides from flea and tick medications, killing aquatic invertebrates because it's washing off into waterways, and dog feces. Oh, yeah, not just cat feces, but dog feces can leave scent traces and change soil chemistry and plant growth. The researcher, lead author, Professor Bill Bateman of Curtin University, says, this is not supposed to be censorious, but just to raise awareness of the environmental impacts of man's best friend. And what do you think the best way to mitigate against these harms could possibly be? Keep your dog leashed. If you're going to keep your cat inside, keep your dog leashed. And clean up after them. Clean up those poos. Don't just leave them out there. You got to clean them up. Okay? Be a good animal owner. I know everybody here is a great animal owner. I am sure. If you let your dogs out, it's only into your backyard and it's very carefully. All right. I had other studies, but they're about brains and stuff like that. And I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Do y'all want to talk about anything else? I'll leave links around. There's a study. They've mapped a piece of mouse brain. It's like a very, very high resolution mapping, a bunch of nature studies that have just come out. Very exciting information. Additionally, there's another study. Researchers have found a link between an interleukin, which is one of our inflammation molecules, that's in the brain, and it actually modulates behavior. And they think that it may have been a behavioral modulator before it was in the inflammation pathway. And so this signal that normally turns on inflammation, it also can turn on depression and anxiety. And it could have something to do with the way that various populations of people with different genetics change their behaviors when they're sick, when their temperature goes up. It's very interesting. I had some TWIS mailbag, but I feel really bad not reading the mailbag with Blair and Justin. So I'm going to save our TWIS mailbag for next week. If you have anything, you can email me, Kirsten, at thisweekinscience.com. You can email Justin at twistminion@gmail.com. And I think Blair's blairbaz at twist.org still. I think. But what is the caveat? Oh, yeah. You must put TWIS in the subject line, or else your email will be eaten by a completely poorly behaving dire wolf who was never taught how to behave like a real dire wolf by a parent, because they don't have a parent and they're in some highly secure drone security prison for dire wolves in the northeastern United States. I have no idea. Area Alpha. Somebody go find that. Oh man, Pepsi Cola, you're rolling with them. That's amazing. Dire Wolves 2, more dire. It's so good. There's so many wonderful things to say moving forward. Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad that I got to hang out with you all. I am so sorry, Justin, that your internet didn't work out tonight. That is a huge disappointment. I am seriously, though, I'm glad I had to get the dire wolves out of my system somehow. So thank you for letting me do that. Thank you for being my dire audience. Thank you, Pepsi Cola. Thank you, Fada. Thank you, The Marked. Thanks, Who's out? Who else is still there? We've got Laura D, joint specialist, David Ha. Yeah, Moonglass could be great for a high quality fiber optic. Absolutely. Justin, let's see, flying out. Who else do we have here? Eric Knapp. Oh yeah, we could expand the range of the muskox. Paul Disney, the woolliest mammoths. They're even woollier. Who needs sheep anymore? We could have so much awesome like hair for sweaters from like the even woollier mammoth. I can't anymore. All of you, thank you so much for joining. So appreciated that you're here to hang out with me. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but I'm very, very glad that I was able to make that conference happen. Science Talk 25 brought people together at a time that was needed, and I hope that we're able to continue to create great experiences for science communicators throughout the next year until Science Talk 26, which is going to be back in Portland, Oregon, and which is going to be our 10th conference. So our 10th anniversary next year. I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do a TWIS thing right along with it. I don't know. I love things that are near my home. Traveling was great, but it would have been nice to sleep in my own bed. Laura D, you're not excited about the mammoth fur yarn. Who knows? Maybe it was very soft. Right? I don't know. I mean, I honestly have no idea. Just maybe they just needed a comb and it's just like alpaca or like a mix of alpaca and chinchilla. Who knows? They had to be warm. That's great. Nothing like trying to shear a mammoth. That's right. All right. So everyone, thank you so much for joining me and almost Justin tonight for this very special, strange episode of This Week in Science. Thanks for enjoying the conversation. And, if you're in dire need of more science, just remember that twist.org is there for you. We're there on social media, and we have over 1,000 episodes in our back catalog for you to check out and to have fun with. Let's have more science fun together next week, all right? Yes, Sahori! Hey, for Portland. Yes, it was fun. Thanks, Paul Disney. And like I said, I'm not playing any music because I don't feel like it. It's not the whole show, so it's not quite right. But yeah, put it on your calendar. Sometime next Marchy, April-y, Science Talk 26 will be happening. It's going to be great. We'll bring all the science communicators. I want to make it a big one. But I mean, not too big, but like good. We'll see. But in the meantime, I need to get a job. I don't know. I'm going to go feed my lemur. Do you want some more food, lemur? You're so cute over there. Freeze frame. Freeze frame. Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm going to go now. Thank you, everyone. I do appreciate you joining for another episode of This Week in Science. I hope you enjoyed the show, the fun. And to all the Patreon sponsors out there, I thank you for sponsoring us. And I am sorry that I'm not reading all your names tonight. Everything's a little special tonight, very special. And I hope you all sleep well. I hope you all live well. I hope you all find moments of calm, moments of joy, moments of introspection, curiosity. Stay curious. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay lucky. Ta-da-da! We'll see you again next week. And Blair will be back, I hope. And Justin will have good internet. Everything's going to be fabulous. We'll see you next week. Thank you for joining me for this episode of TWIS. Have a great night.